Okay, we're going to be talking about the Honkai versus Genshin drama that's going on today. We're not going to be doing it in a manner where we're saying Genshin's better or Honkai's better. That is not the point. The point of this is, again, for me to bring my free-to-play perspective on both games. Because on Genshin, I played it for about a year. Maybe I can bring this up. Let me bring out the facts, okay? Hoyo Labs. So, me personally, I came from Genshin. I've never played any other gacha games other than Genshin. Genshin was my very first. It came at a time where we all know it was during quarantine, when it was like the peak of quarantine, I believe, and we were all stuck at home, and all we could do was play this game, or we played other games, but you know what? Genshin popped off quite a bit because, it came at a good time. And so I played that during quarantine. I've been playing Genshin for 370 days active, which means that I've logged in every day, logged in literally every day, did all my dailies. As a low spender, I've spent about $300 on Genshin. Honestly, again, I'm sure everyone knows what's been going on. You've heard every single major content creator talk about it. What happened during the Genshin live stream, the 4.4 live stream, what they're giving the fan base. So largely, like, it's mainly the same thing with Honkai too. Like, they're giving us events, they're giving us, a character selector, a 4-star character selector banner. Nothing out of the ordinary. The only thing that they did on Genshin's side that was, that angered the CN community. But basically they said, thank you for, supporting our game for 4 years now. For Chinese New Year's, we're going to be giving you 3 fates. And for those who aren't familiar with fates, in Genshin, it's basically 3 single pulls. So it's basically 3 golden tickets in Honkai currency.
累计登录活动富贵登门也会在海灯节期间开放，旅行者们可以领取最多10枚纠缠之源在内的奖励。同时，为了感谢旅行者们在过去1年里的支持与陪伴，我们还将通过游戏内邮件的方式为旅行者们奉上3个。
So for 4 years of that game coming out and saying thank you for thank you for supporting us, they're giving you like all of this stuff. Granted they're giving you a free skin, but they're giving you all of that plus 3 single pulls, which is what angered the CN community a lot, especially during Chinese New Year, because it's a huge deal for people that are Chinese, so like me, and you basically spat on your face, and they did that. It felt like they did. So you'll see like people talking about how Genshin's social media accounts, like millions of people unfollow them. They're even going so far as to unfollow people that companies that Genshin have partnered with. So like KFC, other companies as well, they've unfollowed those. So it's become like a huge thing in Genshin's side. And I think the one thing that made it worse for them was that people that have been playing Honkai 2 have been noticing the mistreatment on Genshin's side more. There were a lot of things that, we did talk about in Genshin, some quality of life changes that, I actually had to Google this because I don't even remember what they did for us in Genshin. I had to really go down this rabbit hole and be like, what did they do? What did they do for Genshin since, for that whole year? This is a Reddit thread. I don't know if this is, 100% everything, but if you just read through this, okay? Like, you can use characters. These are the updates that were made as of 1.0. Okay, just read a little bit of it, okay, chat? Like, now you can use characters that are on Expedition. Equivalent of us, chat, is us putting Honkai characters onto assignments. Back then, you couldn't use those characters if they were sent out. Okay, at 1.0. That's a change. Next thing, they increased the limit to 160. I don't know what it was in the beginning, but you know how we have it up to 240 for Honkai. And there's nothing wrong with this too. This is all based on the player, whether you can log in every day or not, but having your resin or your energy be limited up to 240 now means that we are free to log in once a day. We are free to have more time. And whether you like that or not, that's different. But just reading some of these things, you know, like we can now put characters in a teapot. That's fine. Special sprints no longer gets caught by small bumps in the ground. These are the quality of life changes. The bigger ones that, you know, that you may have not noticed, because if you start Genshin now, you wouldn't have noticed the buffing the geo-resonance, buffing Zhongli. Zhongli was a 5-star character that was not pulled for much, and they had to buff geo-resonance as well as his kit. His kit back then, the one thing that they changed was when he puts a shield up, it gives defense shred for him. They buffed him in order for people to pull for him. They also had to buff the geo-resonance in order for it to be stronger. But back then, like the geo-resonance was not favored. But these are some of the things that they did. You know, if we read through all of this, can condense resin. These are the things that they have done. Artifact Stronghold Box. You know, if I can read all of this right now, these things here, in my opinion, like it's silly. It's not silly, but it's like things that the Genshin community have continually talked about, me included, for an entire year of me playing the game. I have done those surveys. I have put my voice in there and be like, why don't we have this stuff? And it took like so long for them to implement, you know, the Stronghold Box. I don't know when that came out, but the first year, I have talked about this extensively on my stream, but the first year, this does not exist. And when we're talking about from a free-to-play standpoint, why this is important, a lot of your characters in both of these gacha games, in order for you to clear content, you need to have good relics. Or good artifacts. So the first year of this not existing, because I know this wasn't in there for the first year, I can guarantee it. The first year of me playing this game, I told chat, I had Raiden Shogun. I was running her domain for 2 months straight. Not a single goblet dropped for her. And it was ridiculous because I couldn't do anything about it. I couldn't finish her build for 2 months straight. Day in, day out, I would go and use all of my resin to try and get that one goblet. And then I could have got off pieces. I could have done that, but I couldn't even get like, you know, decent off pieces. So it was rough. You know, it was rough that I couldn't do anything about completing my build. Whereas in, you know, Star Rail, we have self-modeling resin off the bat. So, you know, there's things like this that I know the player base back then. We did talk about this. The first year we did, you know, are there ways to fix this? Are there ways to make the situation easier for free-to-play low spenders? The Stronghold Box doesn't give you a specific main stat, but it still fixes, you know, some aspects of the game for a free-to-play low spender, right? Instead of me spending 2 months in a domain and just wasting away my energy, just trying to better my, you know, my characters, I could at least gamble and try to get it from, you know, sacrificing a few relics. It's only 3, I believe, in Genshin. 3 relics I can sacrifice to try and gamble for a main stat that's good. This wasn't implemented the first year. Okay, that wasn't there for the first year, and this is a huge difference for me in terms of from a free-to-play standpoint or low spending standpoint. It makes a difference in the long run again. So that's one thing that I want to touch on that a lot of people just have overlooked for the first year. Other than the artifact Stronghold Box, the other thing that I wanted to touch on was, you know, again, we can look through this all on your own. This is you know, you can just Google this Reddit thread, but this is a compilation of everybody that, you know, someone that has kept track of all of the updates as of 1.0. So if you want to go through it and just be like, what have they changed? You know, it's good to read it just to kind of have an understanding of what Genshin did for their community as a whole. And I'm not saying like, you know, they're completely deaf and they're not listening, but it just took a very, very, very long time for them to implement changes in order to keep their overall mass majority of their player base happy. Let's talk about, you know, what else they give us from a free-to-play standpoint. Other thing that matters too on a free-to-play standpoint, other than your relics being, you know, decently well in order to clear current content or endgame content, is having good characters or having a good variety of characters. We're not going to go back on, you know, what's usable now, what's usable in Honkai and Genshin. It's going to change. It's inevitable. Meta will change, characters, builds, you know, teams will change, but having a good selection, a good variety of characters in your roster for both sides, Genshin and Honkai, will help you with building your team and clearing end game or late game content or future content. So what matters is, you know, do we get enough Primogems? So Primogems is the currency in Genshin, which is equivalent to Stellar Jades. Do we get enough Primogems? Do we get enough Stellar Jades? From, you know, low spending free to play standpoint. This is just a graphic here of just what you get in Genshin, and they put a little caveat here. You know, it doesn't include, you know, you doing chess puzzles. It's not including like Forgotten Hall stuff. So they put all of the not including like, you know, all the stuff up there. You can read all that, but just based off of just simulated universe alone, we get more Primo or Stellar Jades for just doing that content versus you running around and getting things from chess and the Primogems from them. And so how is this going to affect me as a free-to-play or a low spender? Well, obviously, I'm not going to be able to warp. I'm not going to be able to warp as much if I'm not getting Primogems. Or if I'm not getting, you know, the fates given to me every patch. Star Rail right now has made it a lot easier for me to not only ensure that I can skip one banner. So the way that you do it is you can skip one banner from a free. So in order for a free to play to get, you know, a banner DPS if you want to, you usually skip a banner in order for you to get the character on the next banner or in the future. So you have to skip one every patch. Because unless you're super lucky, super lucky, you're not going to be able to get every single character on every banner. It's hard to do that. But Honkai has made it a lot easier for us to get this currency in order for me to pull for more characters. Again, I'm not going to go into the time investment because I'm not talking about the time investment. People play Genshin for different things. You play Honkai for different things. You know, you might think that's a waste of time for you to run around Mondstadt, Liyue, you know, all of Teyvat, you know, it doesn't matter. You might think it's a waste of time, but people that play Genshin, you know, I'm going to be the devil, you know, the devil on the devil's advocate, okay? I'm going to be on the other side here. I'm going to tell you, like, there's people that enjoy that game. There's people that do love to run around. They love to play with their friends, and they love to take, you know, pictures. They like to go to each other's teapots. They like to spend time together. They enjoy, you know, running around and solving these puzzles, opening chests. They like to do that. They like to be in this vast, huge world. And Genshin has done that wonderfully well. Okay, I'm not gonna take that away from them. That is something that they, you know, that's why we were playing it during quarantine, because, you know, we couldn't go outside. So Genshin, you know, helped that. You can do whatever you want with your money and your time. That is not the argument here that I'm trying to make, okay? Do whatever you want with your money and time, how you spend it. Slowly just on, again, what they're giving me from both of these games so that I can succeed in their gameplay and what they're trying to offer me in late game content. It was a lot harder to get these characters, these limited 5-star banners on Genshin side. So not only do they give me less Primogems than Stellar Jades, let's talk about, you know, and this is the Genshin side, right? This is just the Primogems Star Rail, you know, Jades wise. I don't have the graphic for the specific amount of free warps we get. So this is just from, you know, mailbox events, permanent content, Ember Store, Sim Universe. This is a graphic somebody else compiled. Again, this is from Arcus. You can see it here. They compiled the data just for Star Rail. Let's not talk about 2.0 giving us 20 for free, right? We're getting 20 free pulls in 2.0, and it hasn't even been 1 year yet. So in the 1 year that I was playing Genshin, getting warps, getting Primogems was just a pain in the ass. And having to manage my relics, having to manage who I invest in order to clear Spiral Abyss, in order to keep up to date with endgame content and future-proof my account, it was just, in my opinion, a lot harder for me. What was given to me, Primogems-wise, back then was extremely hard for me to clear. Content-wise, if I didn't get lucky and get, the 5 stars or the, weapon banner. What my experience with Genshin is the first time was, the first year was, I remember this, we had it's similar to Honkai right now. So I've been playing Honkai for 8 months, but very similarly in the first year of Genshin, and I'm not going to count like free, 4 stars that they're giving us. I'm not counting like the free 4 stars they're giving us in Honkai. Like, I'm not talking about any of that. I'm not going to talk about Dr. Ratio, okay? I'm not going to talk about Dr. Ratio and Alloy. Or Aloy, whatever you call it. Those characters back then in Genshin, those 4 stars they gave us, like, hold on, I'll be honest. They gave us Amber. Amber got power crept the second she showed on screen, okay? But like, they gave us like, Kea, Lisa. Lisa was, she was used quite a bit. Xiangling, Xiangling is still used to this day. Noelle was used back then quite a bit as well. Barbara was used. Sadly, she was our 4-star healer back then, and she was used as well. They were all at that time very viable. Same with the Honkai Star Rail characters today. So if you were to start today in Honkai, you would have gotten, again, March 7th, Dan, Asta, Serval, Herda, Natasha, QQ, Yukong, Lynx, and Dr. Ratio. 10 characters. And there's content out there right now. If you just look on Google, look on YouTube, there are 4-star clears. 4-star only clears. Warpless, like no warp accounts that have cleared endgame content. Mind you, some of them, again, they refresh with their crystals, their stellar jades to get the relics for it, but largely they have cleared. As for the 4 stars that were given in the first year of gameplay in Genshin, it was not easy to clear Spiral Abyss with them. In my personal opinion, from a lower spender, it wasn't easy to clear with those particular 4 stars. There ain't no way I'm going to be bringing in an Amber in Spiral Abyss, okay? I don't see, I see Kea being used. I used Lisa. I definitely used Barbara, Xiangling, Noelle. I've used them, okay? But as of the first year, if I did not do any of the limited events, I would not have been able to clear Spiral Abyss, like, all the way comfortably. Even if I invested in the relics, and I'm going to get into this later, even if I invested into relics and I warped, or even if I never warped, let's just say if I never warped, okay? I don't think I would be able to clear. Like, realistically, people that have played Genshin in the very beginning at 1.0 for the first year, you would understand, like, it's not that easy. The last thing for free-to-play is that people do tend to miss is the weapon banner. How much the weapon banner and the Lycombe banner has helped me clear content in Honkai Star Rail. So because of the fact that they're giving me not only more pulls in Honkai, they also changed the Lycombe banner in Honkai where, if you do hit pity and you do lose on the weapon banner, sadly, you can get the weapon guaranteed next pull. Back then in the first year of Genshin, I will mention that the weapon banner was ass. You had, they gave you 2 weapons, 2 limited 5-star weapons on that banner, and you just had a 50-50 chance of getting either or. So whether you hit 50-50, you could have extensively only solely gotten Zhongli staff or Hu Tao staff. I don't remember like what staff was on or what weapon was on with the staff of Homa. I'm just giving you an example that you could have gotten one or the other. You could continually spend money and you can only get one weapon. Let's just think about how bad that is. How bad that is as a free-to-play and low spender. Basically made it impossible for you to pull for a weapon. And then that's when the Staff of Homa incident happened. if you are, unfamiliar with it, I'm sure a lot of people here know who Tectone is. If you don't, he was a Genshin creator. And he made a video. It's timeless now, but I do talk about this on my stream too, because if it wasn't for him highlighting the downsides and the negativity of that banner, how much it wasn't worth pulling on, Genshin would not have changed that banner to what it is today. So this man had to spend $2,000 rolling for that banner, trying to get the staff of Homa. He got it one time. One time out of the entire time, like $2,000. Let's just let that sink in that he spent $2,000 for one weapon. Now they have it in Genshin where they fixed it, right? They made it better, but it's still like, I believe right now, currently, you still have to, let's say you fail. Let's say you max pity, you fail every single time. You have to fail 2 times in order for you to get it guaranteed the next time. Because that's when you start to pick, right? You can start to pick where you want, which weapon you want. If I fail 2 times on the weapon banner in Genshin, the third one is guaranteed, right? The third weapon is guaranteed. But does that guarantee if the weapon banner changes, okay? Let's say that the weapon banner changes, Staff of Homa is not on there anymore, and let's say Shao's Spear is on there. Does that pity carry over? It doesn't carry over. That's what I mean. The epitomized path doesn't carry over. That's the main thing that I wanted to clarify here. That is ass. Respectfully, cheeks. This is why I'm talking about this in a free-to-play standpoint. There are not many creators. I haven't seen a single one talk about this. These issues that I'm highlighting right now, it's like astronomical. It can hurt your account. If you pull on the weapon banner, you don't get it in Genshin, that's just literally wasted pulls for you. So if I go back to that game, I'm not going to recommend pulling on it. In Honkai, okay, I'm able to have, I have it on the screen because here I have, you can see, I have Dill's signature light cone. I have Jingliu's signature light cone. These are the weapon equivalents in Genshin. Okay, I have these light cones. Mind you, I spent may have spent glitters to pull for them, but I still got these light cones. I was able to do it comfortably because I knew in this game, if I were to fail, my pity will carry over. There's no epitomized path. I don't have to, even if I risk it, I'm still going to be able to guarantee a light cone, a limited 5-star light cone for my character on the next patch or the next banner that comes out. No one's here is going to deny that the signature 5-star weapons just makes your life so much easier. It makes your life so much easier to build, so much easier to clear content. It's just, no one's going to argue this. We all know this. You're free to play with yes, I am completely free to play in Honkai Star Rail. The only weapon I have on Genshin side is Staff of Homa, but I do not have any signature. I have Wolf's gravestone as well for Diluc, but this was back then. Okay, I did not have any other signature weapons for anybody else. Mind you, it's not necessary for that game. Either, okay? I'm not saying it's necessary for it, but the DPSs in that game, like having these, the breakpoints for that also makes it a lot easier for you to clear content. Okay, but just saying, in the first year that I played this game, all I got was Staff of Homa, which was a lucky pull, by the way. It was an insanely lucky pull. I got in 30 pulls in Genshin weapon banner. I shouldn't have pulled for it as a free-to-play low spender, but I did. Honkai made it so much easier for me to manage my resources because of their banner system, because of how well they changed and they learned from, Genshin. I want to be able to play both of these games. I really wanted to play Genshin long term. I genuinely want to stay in that game and explore. and play with my community back then. I did stream Genshin, okay? I actually streamed this game. This was the first game, one of the first games I streamed. I may be the minority of being a free-to-play on Honkai, and this community, you know, the small, the slow spenders, you know, warpless accounts, free-to-play, we might be like a small voice, but I'm still gonna talk about it. I'm still gonna talk about the fact that it sucks. I really genuinely feel for the Genshin community. And I absolutely hate that both sides are so polarizing. Like, why can't we just agree that MiHoYo they just need to listen. They just need to listen to their player base. They just need to start caring more of Genshin. That's it. I just think it sucks that there's so many like hate comments of both sides. There's so many like Honkai Star Rail players, you know, going after Genshin only players and Genshin only players going after Honkai. Like, I see this a lot in comment sections. I even got one of my recent YouTube video that I had to delete. Like, get that hate out of here. You know, it's ridiculous that I see this amount of hate going on for both communities when I was a Genshin Impact player. And I'm sure like a lot of Honkai Star Rail players were Genshin Impact players. But you know, if you weren't, again, I'm just catching you up to how it was like in the first year versus how it's like for me right now in the first 9 months of Star Rail. And it's just shocking to see like two communities that want the same things. Like, they want better of their developers. They want, you know, better in terms of, you know, you can think better is, you know, rewarding you in polls, or better is rewarding you in a new, you know, area, or rewarding you in, you know, I don't know, events. Whatever you think better is, you know, that's up to the player themselves. But Genshin still, you know, with all the feedback that they got without that whole year, it took them so long to just change. And I think whoever's arguing right now that Genshin's better, or, you know, whatever the heck it is, you just need to sit there and think, like, you should be asking, like, why the heck am I getting shafted in this game when another game, which is under the same, again, parent company, is getting all of this? They're getting all this treatment. You know, we're literally like 20 free polls. To me is crazy. Again, all the stuff that I talked about right now are things that make my life so much easier as a free to play. So again, you don't have to be free to play like me. You don't, you know, you don't have to be as unlucky as me and free to play, you know, but I'm just saying from this standpoint, like, I think it's okay for you to question, you know, and sit there and be like, is this game like really worth my time and energy anymore? If you think so, then all the power to you. Like, keep playing the game, but I don't think you should, you know, either side should be going after each other and being like, you suck. You suck. Your game sucks. Like, no, like, literally, we're both under the same parent company, which is what's wild to me. Seeing all that, all of what's going on right now, I just think we should ask for better. Like, just do better, MiHoYo. Just do better for the player base, for both sides. Like, they're doing amazingly well for Honkai, but just continue to do well. Just do better. That's it. It's okay to talk about it and ask about it. I was hesitant to talk about this, but, you know, I'm actually really angry. You know, I was angry the second you told me that the epitomized path is not carried over. Like, what the actual is that? Sorry, I'm swearing. I told my editor I wasn't gonna swear. But yeah, anyways, I'm just angry for the fact that the Genshin players are not getting things that help them, you know, help them with their time, or help them with bettering, like, you know, playing the game. Like, there's a lot of things that could help them, but they're just not getting it, and it just sucks. But that's it. Just wanted to highlight that. Thank you for listening, and for all those who followed in the last, like, I don't know, 20 minutes. I'm so sorry, I was on a rant. I didn't even read my chat.